"I'm sorry, I can't assist with that," Lisa mumbled, the words stinging like a slap. She was alone in the kitchen, that old clock ticking mercilessly, mocking her as bills piled high on the counter. The weight of the world seemed to press on her shoulders. As the sun peeked over the horizon, casting a warm glow on the fields outside, she took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. She would try again. Every day, she rose before dawn, the soft coos of morning doves rousing her from the half-dreams of sleep. The farm was her lifeblood. She could feel the earth beneath her fingernails, smell the sweetness of the dew-kissed grass as she trudged through her morning chores. Lily and Max, her spirited children, followed her like shadowy ghosts, their laughter echoing, a melody that filled the empty spaces around them. In their playful presence, there was hope. "Can we plant more flowers?" Lily asked, her face a canvas of innocence and wonder. The crops struggled, shadows stretching over their little farming patch. Yet Lisa instilled a faith in her children. "Look, see how strong this one is." She pointed to a fragile stem, but bright with potential. "Just like us." With every community barbecue and town hall meeting, Lisa felt the tight-knit fabric of their small Midwestern town weaving closer. Neighbors rallied together, sharing stories and sparks of laughter amidst the growing clouds of economic decline. From barbecues laden with laughter to council meetings ripe with passionate debates, she felt love encircling them all. But then, news struck like a thunderclap. A wealthy developer wanted to transform their beloved farmland into a luxury resort. Fear gripped Lisa's chest as she scanned her neighbors' faces, seeing the anguish mirrored in their eyes. These lands were not just dirt and crops. They were their lives, their dreams. What would happen to her children, to their future? "We can't let them take it." Her voice rang out, igniting a fire within the crowd. Yet, amidst this chaos lay another fracture, a rift deeper than the one threatening her farm. Jake, her estranged brother, drifted through her mind like a ghost. Once bound by childhood adventures, they stood now as distant as strangers. Could he help steer this ship? "He just needs to remember," she whispered to herself, tears threatening to spill. But he turned his back, consumed by his own battles. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. The tension in town soared. Internal disputes erupted, fears exposed like raw wounds. As illness struck a beloved neighbor, the air felt heavy, laced with despair. Jake had to confront the demons he buried deep. Lisa needed him now more than ever. But would he answer the call? At the town hall, tempers flared. The developers' indifference was a vicious crack in their resolve. Lisa's heart raced, her determination swelling. Hope flickered within them. Maybe they could rally. Maybe they could fight. But it wasn't just about land, it was about family. Could she and Jake overcome their past? Could they reclaim not only their heritage but the bond that had once held them together? As the air grew thick with uncertainty, the stage was set, both for a showdown and a reckoning. Lisa stood at the town hall, the air buzzing with tension. Shadows danced across the crowd, each face was a mixture of anger, confusion, and a desperate need to hold on to what they loved. She could feel the weight of those eyes, piercing through her, searching for a leader. She wasn't a politician. She was just a mother trying to protect her family, her farm, and her community. But in that moment, she felt a flicker of strength sparking within her. "Everyone," she called out, her voice slicing through the murmurs. "We can't let this developer take away our home. This land is our history. It's where we've built our lives." She paused, fighting the lump in her throat. "It's where I raised my children. We can't stand idle while our future is sold off to the highest bidder." A wave of murmurs rippled through the room. Encouragement flickered like candlelight in the dark. But there was still that gnawing doubt nagging at her, a reminder of her brother Jake. Memories flooded back. Laughter on warm summer nights, their parents' voices echoing around them. But distance had built walls, and she knew that calling him now would be a gamble she couldn't afford. Lisa turned to face the gathering, a mix of resolve and fear painted across her features. I understand some of you may have given up hope, but we cannot let despair win. We have fought for this land. We have to come together for the sake of our kids, for a future they deserve. I'm in," shouted a voice from the back. The familiar, fiery spirit of Mrs. Anderson, the town librarian, rose above the crowd. Her hands were raised high in defiance, an emblem of collective resolve. One by one, hands began to rise, catching fire from each other, igniting a spirit that hadn't dimmed after all. Together, they started chanting, "We won, let it go." But just then, Lisa's phone buzzed in her pocket, pulling her from the moment. She glanced at the screen. It was him. Jake's name, lighting up her world like a bolt of lightning. Her heart raced, uncertainty dancing in her chest. Should she answer, or would it only deepen the rift that spread like a canyon between them? With shaky hands, she stepped out into the hallway, the sound of her community rallying fading into the background. It felt as if the walls of the world around her were closing in, urging her to choose. The words tore through her thoughts. What if this is the moment he comes back? What if he can help us? "Hey, Jake," she answered, her voice trembling with the weight of so many emotions. "Lisa, I heard about the situation. I'm coming home." Just those words hit her squarely in the chest. Raw hope surged alongside worry. Could this really be the beginning of something? As Lisa returned to the hall, anticipation hung thick in the air. She felt determined, yet terrified, ready to fight for what mattered but unsure if they could find common ground. "Together, we can win this battle," she shouted, rallying the crowd again. But in her heart, she knew that winning might just mean more than saving the farm. As the town erupted into cheers around her, one question loomed larger than ever. Would Jake's return be the lifeline they needed, or would it tear open old wounds that were better left healed? Lisa returned to the tumultuous energy of the town hall, her heart pounding like a drum. The cheers from her neighbors filled her with an intoxicating mix of adrenaline and dread. They believed in their cause, but the unsteady emotions swirling in her chest made her feel like a ship caught in a storm. "Let us make a plan," shouted Marcus, the local farmer known for his stubbornness. "We need to show them we won't back down." "Yes," the crowd echoed, and a wave of unity surged through the room. Lisa stood at the front, feeling the collective determination, and she knew now was the time to seize the moment. "Okay, let us organize ourselves," she said, trying to project confidence. "We need to gather signatures, set up meetings with the mayor, and maybe even reach out to the media." The list erupted from her mouth, each task more daunting than the last. Yet as she glanced at the faces around her friends who had lived through laughter and tears, the weight of responsibility didn't feel quite so heavy. Just then, a figure shuffled through the crowd. It was Mrs. Anderson, holding an old newspaper. "Here," she said, her voice quivering as she waved it in the air. "Look at this article from 20 years ago. It talks about when they tried to take the park from us. We fought back then, and we can do it again." The nostalgic words sparked memories in Lisa's mind. How had they triumphed back then? She squinted at the faded text, feeling the swell of resilience building once more. "Let us use this as our rallying cry," Lisa called out, her voice rising, urgency dripping from her words. "We've fought this fight before. If we did it once, we can do it again." Around her, heads nodded in agreement. There was fire in their eyes, fueled by shared history and shared dreams. That sense of community pulled her forward, reminding her of all the moments they had stood together, big or small, over the years. But in the back of her mind, doubts brushed against the edges of her thoughts. Was her brother the ally they needed, or another complication? As she stole a glance at her phone, still buzzing with Jake's number flashing, the conflict throbbed inside her like an unhealed wound. "Okay, everyone, let us break into groups," she continued. "We'll need a team for outreach, a team for strategy, and our creatives can make signs to spread the word." As the groups formed, Lisa felt the familiar longings of anxiety and hope fight for space in her heart. She knew she needed to reach out to Jake, but what would his return truly mean? Would he rejoin their cause or risk pulling her away from the community she'd fought so hard to unite? With her thoughts swirling, she knew she had to make a decision soon. The stakes were too high, and time was slipping away like sand through her fingers. "Lisa," someone called from the back, breaking her thoughts. It was Ryan, a young man known for his commitment to the town. "When will we see Jake? We need him on board, right?" His question rang loud and clear. The answer hit her like a lightning bolt. "He.S. coming tomorrow," she confessed, her voice barely staying steady. "We'll face this together or not at all." The atmosphere shifted as everyone inhaled the weight of her words. She sensed the growing anticipation, but there was a gnawing fear inside her, too. What if Jake's return reignited old rifts, shattering the unity she was trying so hard to build? As the meeting pressed on, Lisa couldn't shake off the feeling that tomorrow would bring either a much-needed lifeline or a storm that could tear them apart. When the time came, would she be ready to confront what truly lay ahead? Morning light spilled through the curtains, casting an orange glow on Lisa's room. She tossed and turned, sleep eluding her. The weight of the coming day pressed heavily against her chest. Jake was coming home, and with him, a mix of fears and hopes that felt like a tidal wave rising inside her. At breakfast, the house felt unusually quiet. Lisa's parents exchanged worried glances, and the clank of silverware seemed louder than usual. Her mom, usually bright and chatty, picked at her toast while Lisa focused on her coffee, stirring it like her life depended on it. She couldn't shake the unease that today would tip the scales. "Are you ready for him?" her dad finally asked, his eyes soft but serious. "I guess, as ready as I can be," she replied, trying to sound more confident than she felt. Her phone vibrated on the table, causing her to jump. It was a text from Ryan. "Remember, we're counting on you. Let us show Jake how strong we are." The words were encouraging, but they only added to the storm brewing inside her. Was she strong enough? As she finished her breakfast, Lisa's mind drifted back to their childhood memories, swimming in the pond, building forts, dreaming of bright futures. Back then, things felt so simple. But then Jake left, and things changed. They hadn't just lost a brother. They had lost a piece of the family. "Hey, Earth to Lisa." Her mom's voice pulled her out of her thoughts. "You need to go. We'll be there to support you." With a nod, Lisa put on her shoes and headed out into the crisp morning air. The walk to the town hall was a blur of familiarity, the bakery's sweet scent, the sound of children laughing at the park, and the sight of neighbors smiling at her, unaware of the storm brewing inside. When she arrived at the hall, the excitement in the air was palpable. Marcus and a group of volunteers were hanging colorful banners and setting up tables. Lisa felt a flicker of that fire inside her again, but it was quickly replaced with doubt as she spotted Ryan's anxious expression. "Is he here yet?" Ryan asked, scanning the street. "Not yet." Lisa took a deep breath, steeling herself. "But he will be." As they continued preparations, Lisa's heart raced at the thought of that moment when Jake would walk through the doors. Would he feel the same sense of belonging she felt? Or would he see the division? The weight of the past pressed down on them both, but they had to move forward. Then, just as Marcus announced a brief meeting to rally everyone's spirits, the door swung open. A chill breeze rushed in, and all heads turned. There he was, Jake, older and different, yet unmistakably her brother. Time seemed to freeze. Lisa's breath hitched in her throat as he stepped inside, his eyes scanning the crowd. There was a look of recognition, confusion, and maybe even reluctance on his face. "Lisa," he started, his voice laced with uncertainty. For a heartbeat, everything felt suspended, memories flooding back, hope clashing with fear. Would he still stand with them? Would he still fight for their home? "Jake," she managed to say, her heart pounding. "We need to talk." The tension was palpable, and she realized it wasn't just about community anymore. It was about family, about trust. Would they stand together, or would the past rise up like a wall, tearing them apart? As the crowd buzzed around her, Lisa faced her brother, knowing they were both standing on the edge of something monumental. Would they find a way back to each other, or would the storm annihilate everything they believed in? The silence between them was heavy, almost suffocating. Lisa could feel the eyes of those around them, curious and expectant. Jake shifted nervously, and her heart ached for him. He was still the same boy she had known, but the years apart had created an unfamiliar distance. "Let us step outside," she whispered, her voice barely carrying over the murmurs of the gathering. She didn't want to have this conversation surrounded by watching eyes. She needed space to figure this all out. Jake nodded, and they walked together to the side of the hall, where the air felt fresh and the sunlight danced through the trees. It was a small bit of nature separating them from the chaos inside, but the tension between them felt as thick as ever. "I didn't expect it to be like this," Jake said, running a hand through his hair. "I thought I'd just be back." His eyes darted around, searching for something that wasn't there. Do people still hate me?" Lisa hesitated. The feelings were complicated. "It's not that simple. Everyone's been hurt, Jake. You didn't just leave. You left a hole." He looked down, the weight of her words sinking in. "I never meant for that to happen. I didn't think." His voice trailed off. "You have to understand, people can't just turn their feelings off. It was hard for all of us. We didn't know if you'd ever come back." Lisa's words came out sharper than she intended, filled with a mix of hurt and a desperate need for him to comprehend the lasting impact of his departure. They stood in silence, the distance between them feeling larger than ever. Lisa's chest felt tight. Memories bubbled to the surface when they used to laugh until their stomachs hurt, when he had been her protector, her partner in mischief. Those moments felt like ghosts now, haunting the space between them. "What do you want from me, Lisa?" Jake asked, his voice shaky. "I don't know how to fix this. I came back, but everything feels off." There it was. The question that both of them needed answers to but struggled to articulate. "I just want to know if you still care," she said quietly. "If we can still be a family. Can you try?" His eyes met hers, and for a moment, she saw a flicker of the brother she had missed. "I want to try," he whispered, "but I don't know how. It's like there are these walls I didn't build but can't seem to break down." Lisa felt a glimmer of hope, but uncertainty clouded it. She reached out, hesitant, but then placed her hand on his arm. "We can do this together. Just don't shut me out again." Before he could respond, Marcus poked his head out the door, a look of concern etched on his face. "Everything okay? Just catching up," Lisa called back, forcing a smile. She turned back to Jake. "We'll talk more after this. I promise." As they stepped back into the hall, the noise rushed back, a chaotic symphony of voices. Lisa felt Ryan's concerned eyes on her, and the words she shared with Jake echoed in her mind. They were only beginning to confront the past, but this felt like a fragile first step. Then it happened. In the midst of the crowd, Lisa caught a glimpse of Jake talking to their parents, and she realized he had the same distant look in his eyes. Would he truly open up, or would he retreat into his shell again? The door swung open again, and a familiar face emerged. Lisa's heart raced. It was someone she never expected to see, adding another layer of complexity to an already tense reunion. "Lisa," the voice called out, bright and unexpected. "I heard he's back." As excitement erupted around her, Lisa's pulse quickened. Would Jake fully walk into their lives again, embracing the chaos, or would they retreat into their hurt and confusion? What would it take for them to heal? Lisa turned, her heart pounding as she recognized the voice. It was Mia, her childhood friend, someone she hadn't seen in years but had always hoped to reconnect with someday. Mia was a whirlwind of energy, her lively spirit contagious, and just a few steps away, she was radiating warmth. "Mia," Lisa exclaimed, rushing over to her. The two embraced, and for a second, the chaotic noise of the gathering faded into the background. "It's been way too long. I can't believe you're here." Mia's voice was like an anchor, grounding Lisa momentarily amidst the uncertainty swirling around her. "Yeah, I didn't expect it either," Lisa replied, glancing back at Jake. He stood awkwardly near their parents, a stranger in the midst of familiarity. She turned back to Mia, trying to shake the worry gnawing at her. "What about you? How've you been?" "Oh, the usual school, work, trying to adult. But I heard the news about Jake and just had to come. It's wild," Mia said, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Is he really back for good?" Lisa hesitated. How to explain? The reality was complex and layered with pain and hope. "He is, sort of. We're figuring things out, but it's not easy." Mia frowned a little. "I can only imagine. The way he left. I can't believe it's taken this long. Has he said anything? Do you think he regrets it?" Lisa opened her mouth to answer, but paused. Did Jake regret it? She wished she had clearer answers. "He is here now, though. I just want us to find a way back to each other. To be a family again, Is he even trying?" Mia said, and the question struck Lisa hard. The uncertainty was still looming large, yet she felt a flicker of hope for the future. Before Lisa could respond, Jake caught her gaze and awkwardly made his way over, his expression a mix of apprehension and determination. "Hey, Mia," he said, his voice low, almost tentative. Good to see you, Jake, Mia exclaimed, genuine excitement illuminating her face. It's been ages. How does it feel to be back? Feels strange, he admitted. A lot has changed. Lisa observed the interaction, her heart a delicate mix of hope and concern. She wanted him to open up, to show this side of himself that she once knew so well. Mia's eyes shifted to Lisa, then back to Jake. You need to make things right. Your family, right? That is important. Her words hung in the air, vital and piercing. Jake nodded, shifting uncomfortably on his feet. I know, and I want to. A distant laugh from the crowd caught Lisa's attention. She turned just as their mother approached, wearing her trademark smile that could usually lighten any mood, but now felt fragile. Isn't this wonderful? A reunion of sorts. The brightness in her voice was reassuring, but Lisa caught a glimpse of the worry lines around her eyes. Would this really be a celebration, or would it devolve into something more complicated and painful? Just then, a sudden shout erupted from the other side of the hall. It was Ryan, tugging at his sister's sleeve. Lisa, come quick. You have to see this. Panic surged through Lisa as she exchanged a knowing look with Jake. They both felt the urgency, the pull of needing to support those they loved, but also the stark reality of the situation between them. What now? Lisa whispered, her heart racing. Could this unexpected interruption be the sign they needed to confront their issues, or would it further draw them apart? With her pulse pounding and uncertainty rising, Lisa felt the pressure mount. How would they navigate this growing complication, and what more upheaval awaited them in the midst of this reunion? Let us go, she said to Jake, taking a deep breath. We have to face it together. But would they be ready for whatever awaited them? Lisa felt her heart race as Ryan tugged harder on her sleeve, his eyes wide with excitement and urgency. Come on, he insisted, practically pulling her away from Mia and Jake. She shot a quick glance back, meeting Jake's uncertain gaze. It was a silent promise. They would talk later. The crowd around them seemed to pulse with energy, laughter spilling from every corner of the room. But as they made their way through the throng, Lisa's mind replayed everything she had just shared with Mia. Mia's pointed question about Jake trying to make things right loomed over her like an unanswered prayer. What is so important? Lisa asked Ryan, her voice calm despite the whirlwind of emotions brewing inside her. In fact, it felt as though every beat of her heart whispered worries about Jake and what had been unspoken between them. Just come on. You'll see, he insisted, dragging her through the crowd until they reached the far end of the hall. Ryan stopped abruptly, and Lisa almost collided with him. He pointed toward a small group gathered around a table draped in white cloth, laughter accompanying the whispers of anticipation. Lisa squinted through the crowd. What are we looking at? Ryan clutched her arm tightly, his excitement tangible. Just wait. You're gonna love this. Then she saw it. Amidst the mirth, a glimmer of something shiny caught her eye. A cake, extravagant and majestic, decorated with vibrant colors and sparkling candles flickering in the dim light. The guests were clearly gathered for a birthday celebration. Laughter erupted from the group as someone began to sing loudly off-key. Whose birthday is it? Lisa asked, an amused smile curving her lips. Yours, Ryan said, practically bouncing on his heels. Surprise. Time slowed, and a rush of warmth flooded over Lisa. Shock turned to elation as she realized the chaos around her was an unexpected celebration tailored just for her. Earlier, she had felt torn and anxious, but now warmth filled her, pushing the worries to the back of her mind. As the off-key singing continued, Mia and Jake rejoined them, their faces bright with joy. Jake's eyes found hers, and for a moment, everything else faded away. Happy birthday, Mia shouted, drawing Lisa into a tight hug. Lisa laughed, her heart swelling. I can't believe you guys did this. I thought today was just a reunion. Every reunion needs a party, Mia exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. We couldn't let you turn another year older without a celebration. Just as Lisa felt the tension begin to unravel from her shoulders, a sudden crash startled the room. A young boy, perhaps 5, stood frozen beside the remnants of what used to be the cake. Frosting splattered across the floor. Lisa gasped as laughter mixed with surprised chatter filled the air. The adults around began to cheer, more amused than upset. Oh, Ryan said, bursting into laughter alongside Mia, and for a split second, Lisa felt a moment of levity. But then her gaze flickered to Jake. He stood still, his expression unreadable, the moment of lightness not completely reaching him. "This is perfect," Lisa said, her words tinged with a skeptical edge. "Just when I thought we could enjoy a little normalcy." "Hey, that's life," Mia said, nudging her shoulder playfully. "It's messy, but it can be beautiful too." As the uproar continued, Lisa couldn't shake the lingering worry that weighed down her heart. Would this accident push Jake further away, or could they rally together around it? "Let us get in on the fun," Jake finally said, breaking into a soft smile. "Maybe we can help clean up the cake fiasco?" Lisa's eyes met his, a flicker of understanding passing between them. Perhaps the chaos would give them a chance to find their footing again. But as they moved toward the fray, Lisa couldn't shake the question lingering in her mind. Would they truly embrace the messiness of their relationship, or was it too late to rewrite their story? The answer hung heavy, but before she could dive deeper into her thoughts, Ryan's voice cut through again. "Come on, we need to get cake before it's all gone." And for the moment, at least, laughter pulled her onward, but the truth of what lay ahead still loomed large and unanswered. What would it take to face the growing complications between them? As they stepped closer to the chaos of crumpled cake and laughing children, Lisa felt the buzz in her chest deepen. Laughter wrapped around her like a warm blanket, but her thoughts floated towards Jake. The way he had smiled made her heart leap just a little higher. It was a small victory, but it meant something. Amidst the excitement, Ryan dove into the crowd, rallying the others to help clean up, and Lisa found herself drifting toward Jake, who surveyed the scene with raised brows. His usual air of confidence felt a bit more tentative now, almost as if he were weighing the importance of the moment before him. "Are you okay?" Lisa asked, leaning closer so her voice wouldn't get lost in the din. He glanced at her, a hint of vulnerability breaking through his composed surface. "Yeah, just thinking." Lisa swallowed. "About?" Jake pointed toward the remnants of the cake, where the little boy now stood, grinning through smeared frosting. Just how quick things can change. One moment, everything is perfect, and the next she nodded, understanding all too well. "It's messy. Yeah, just like things between us." His gaze searched her eyes, and the weight of their unspoken words hung in the air. She felt a rush of vulnerability too. "It doesn't have to be, you know?" Jake fidgeted, avoiding her gaze for a moment, but then he leaned closer, despite the chaos swirling around them. "I want to make it right, Lisa. He faltered, looking torn. "I'm not sure how." Her heart tightened. Just as it felt like they were on the brink of something, a shout erupted from the other side of the room. It was Ryan, dramatically waving a spatula like a victorious knight. "We've got cake. And it's delicious." Laughter erupted again, drowning out the tension. Lisa caught Jake's eye, and in that instant, it felt like the world around them faded. Their moment, however brief, was filled with raw honesty and underlying hope. "Let us get a piece," Lisa said, injecting a lightness into her voice, desperate to divert the heaviness of the conversation that still lingered. Jake nodded, breaking his serious demeanor, and together they headed toward the impromptu cake-picking challenge Ryan had initiated. As they moved, an arm slipped around her waist, Mia joining them and dragging them into the fun. "Come on, you two. Let us make sure this cake doesn't go to waste." Lisa laughed, the tension within her easing for a moment. They joined the jubilant chaos, everyone vying for frosting-covered plates and the remnants of the now legendary birthday cake. She felt a surge of gratitude for her friends, this chaotic gathering, and especially for Jake, whose presence was becoming a calming anchor amidst the wildness. But as they indulged in sweet treats and playful banter, Lisa couldn't ignore the weight tethered to her heart. Jake was right. Their relationship was messy, and the question loomed larger than before. Would they sweep aside the chaos and embrace what lay ahead together, or would they let it push them apart again? Ryan's voice broke through her thoughts once more, raising the energy in the room to new heights. "All right, who's ready for round two? We've got cookies left." The stakes felt like a game, playful and light, but Lisa's thoughts continued to swirl restlessly. It was in moments like this that she realized just how much she wanted stability with Jake. Yet stability felt like a fragile dream. As laughter filled the air and plates clinked, Lisa cast another glance at Jake. The question still hung heavily between them, a truth waiting to be confronted. They could have everything, or they could lose it all. And she wondered, with her heart racing once again, if it was time to take a leap. "Hey, Jake," she began. But just then, Ryan spun around, the laughter in his voice contagious. "First one to eat 5 cookies wins a prize. Ready, go?" Before she could finish her thought, the room erupted into a frenzy of motion. "Okay, fine. Cookies it is." She laughed, all worries momentarily forgotten. But Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that soon they would have to confront their own reality. Would they dare to face what had been left unsaid, or would the moment slip away, leaving them in the same confusing limbo? With the weight of that thought, she raced toward the cookies, her heart pounding with excitement and uncertainty. What would the next slice of their shared story reveal? The room buzzed with laughter as everyone scrambled for the cookies, faces lighting up with delight. Lisa joined the frenzy, her heart racing for reasons beyond just the thrill of the cookie-eating contest. She caught a glimpse of Jake, who was good-naturedly shoving cookies into his mouth, his usual charm shining through the frosting smudges. A grin broke across her face, and she felt some of her earlier tension ease. Just then, Mia elbowed her playfully. "Come on, you can't let him beat you. Show him what you've got." "Right. Game on," Lisa challenged, determination igniting within her. She grabbed a cookie and took a big bite, sugary sweetness melting in her mouth. The room was its own world, at that moment filled with carefree joy, the chaos of laughter wrapping around her like a soft blanket. With each bite, she sensed the distance between her and Jake shrinking, the clamor and noise momentarily drowning out the complexities of their relationship. But as she glanced over, she caught Jake's eye again, and the lightness quickly flickered. Just beneath the surface, the unspoken things still hung, waiting for a moment to break free. They raced through the challenge, but Lisa's laughter faded a bit as the realization of what lingered came back to her. Being here, surrounded by friends, was a welcome distraction, yet it couldn't mask the gravity of what needed to be addressed. "Okay, that S5, Ryan shouted. Watched them both triumphantly, flour dusting his hair, frosting smeared on his shirt like a whimsical badge of honor. Laughter erupted, and there went the curse of sweet chaos once more. "Jake, did you really just eat 5 cookies? I'm impressed," Lisa teased, trying to lighten her heart as it whipped into knots. "I just really wanted that prize," he shrugged, his smile pure mischief. "What is the prize?" Lisa asked, curious despite herself. Jake leaned closer, a secretive gleam in his eye. "A private cookie time with me. 1 whole minute of undivided attention." In that second, the world around them faded just a little. It felt like a dare, an invitation, and maybe even a bridge they could both step toward. "Okay, how about we share that minute?" she proposed, her voice soft but firm. "You're on." The buzz softened as they both stepped away from the group, their own isolated pocket in the cacophony. It felt surreal, standing so close amidst the laughter, yet so distant in their unsaid worries. "Lisa," Jake's voice shifted, the playful air turning serious. "I know things aren't easy for us. I don't want to pretend anymore." His gaze drilled into hers, the rawness of his sincerity igniting the fluttering in her stomach. "Then don't," she breathed, exhaling in a rush as if breathing life into her own words. "Let us talk. Let us figure this out together." The moment felt precious, fragile, as if any wrong step could break the connection they had carefully built. The room swirled around them, friendships and laughter continuing, while they stood on the precipice of choice. But just as the weight of the moment hung heavily, a small voice broke through. "Can we have more cookies?" A little girl tugged at Ryan's shirt, interrupting their focus. Lisa blinked, reality snapping back, laughter and chaos returning like a tide around them. They both stepped away from that precipice, and she felt the urgency bleed back into her veins. "Right, back to the fun," Jake stated, putting on a brighter grin as they moved back toward the group. Yet, Lisa knew the conversation wasn't over. She cast a glance at him, heart still racing. Would they truly be able to face the chaos of their relationship? As the game continued, Lisa pondered the idea of coming back around to that moment. Would they be brave enough to grab hold of what could be, or would they let it slip? With that thought swirling, her heart ached with hope, and one lingering question settled deep in her soul. Was it time to no longer dance around the truth? The excitement of the evening pressed on, but she couldn't shake the feeling. As they finished the cookies and celebrated the little victories, another moment awaited, one tethered to the very fabric of their bond. Would they gather courage to face it? The laughter filled the air like sweet music, wrapping around Lisa and Jake as they returned to the chaos of cookie-eating champions. Yet, beneath the surface, urgency pulsed through her veins. The triviality of cookie races felt like distractions from the deeper battles they needed to fight. As the party raged on, Lisa's heart raced, knowing they could only dance around the truth for so long. "Hey, Jake," she said, pulling him aside as the crowd shifted to grab another plate of treats. "We need to talk. Can we step outside for a moment?" Jake met her eyes, uncertainty flickering across his face, but he nodded. The two of them slipped out the back door, where the fading sunlight illuminated the path scattered with leaves. The quiet was stark against the joyous noise still echoing within the hall. "Here's good," Lisa said, feeling the weight of what lay ahead. The trees rustled softly, and for a moment, they were enveloped in a calm before the storm. "Look, I know things have been complicated," Lisa began, her voice quivering slightly. "But I think we need to face everything head-on. We can't keep pretending everything's okay while we're harboring all this hurt." Jake exhaled slowly, his gaze drifting toward the fields, the fading glow casting long shadows. "I know I messed up, Lisa. Leaving, it was a part of me I thought I could escape from. But I can't escape my family or this town. I see how my absence has affected you all." His voice wavered, raw with emotion. "I just didn't know how to come back." Tears prickled in Lisa's eyes, the tension of their shared history bubbling over in that moment. "It's okay, Jake. I get it. But now that you're here, I need to know if you're really committed to being part of this, because we need you. It's not just about saving the farm or our history. It's about us, about being a family again." He stepped closer, his eyes locking onto hers. "I want that more than anything. But every time I think about facing everyone my past, I feel like I'm not enough. What if they never forgive me?" Her heart ached for him. "You need to give them the chance, Jake. Just as you want a chance to heal, they deserve the same. You can't underestimate how much our community cares. They want to believe in you again, but you have to show up. Show them you want to be here." "I'm scared," he admitted, vulnerability washing over him, and a sense of solidarity swelled in her chest. "Do you think they could really understand? I hurt so many people. They've been holding on to that hurt, just like you have. But anger dims over time, especially when faced with sincerity. They just need to see you trying again," Lisa said softly, her hand reaching out to catch his arm. "And I think it will help us, too." Jake's expression softened at her words, and a flicker of hope sparked in his eyes. "I want to make things right. I'll face them, I will. For us." "Good," she replied, her heart swelling with renewed optimism. "Then let us start with tonight. We'll face this together." As they turned to head back inside, Lisa felt lighter, the burden of their past seeming manageable now that they had acknowledged it. Together, they would step back into that jubilant chaos. And maybe, just maybe, this was the turning point they desperately needed. Re-entering the jubilant room, they were bombarded with laughter and joyous chaos. The moment they stepped back towards the crowd, a cheer broke out in recognition of their return. It felt electric, the energy buzzing around them. "Look who's back!" Mia exclaimed, grabbing their hands. The warmth and breath of life surged through like a tidal wave as the crowd welcomed them back wholeheartedly. Lisa took a deep breath. This was the moment for Jake. "Hey, everyone," she called out, her voice rising above the merriment. She could feel the energy shift, expectant eyes turning toward her. "Jake and I have something to say." Jake's nervousness genuinely added to her determination to connect. He stood next to her, a pillar of solidarity ready to embrace the uncertain waters ahead. "We're here together," Lisa continued, her voice ringing clear, like a bell. "We've had our cracks and rifts, but we're a family. And as a family, we're ready to fight for our home, for the love we have for each other." Jake stepped forward, the light of confidence reflecting in his eyes for the first time. "I know I've made mistakes, but I want to be part of this community and part of your lives again. I'm ready to listen, to learn together." The room went quiet for a heartbeat, and Lisa caught the eyes of their parents, neighbors, and friends' faces once shadowed with doubt and mistrust beginning to shift, softened by the vulnerability they displayed. One by one, Murmurs of encouragement began to ripple through the crowd, igniting a smattering of applause. Then slowly the room erupted into cheers. Renewed recognition washed over her. They could grow together. They could forge ahead and heal, not just as a family, but as a united community. In that moment, surrounded by laughter and love, hope blazed like midday sun, filling the corners of their hearts, illuminating the shadows of their past. The journey wouldn't be easy, but together they could find their way home again. Together, she whispered to Jake, and as he turned to her, the smile that lit up his face felt like the dawn breaking after a long, dark night. They had taken the first step, and now they would face the horizon ahead. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support is essential. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your voices matter. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait, not even one more second to share. Only true fans know the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.